Grief. It's a subject I'm really passionate in talking about. And my next guest is on a quest to change the way that people who are grieving are treated. Her name is Lisa Keefauver, and she's a social worker and a widow. Her new book on grief is an uncensored guide to navigating loss. Now, Lisa's words are like a wise best friend offering a comprehensive and compassionate guide for grievers. Lisa, welcome to New Day. Thank you for being here.
Amity, thank you so much for having me. We were just saying we love talking about this subject.
It's so important because, those who are doing it, like you said, it's an inherently isolating experience. Yeah. So we got to talk about it. And so your grief resume, so to speak, is substantial. Yeah. Would you mind telling me a little bit about your story and how you became, a grief activist?
Yeah. Not something I thought I was going to grow up and do when I was a young girl. Mm-hmm. That was not a dream of mine to be a grief activist, right? I come by it professionally and personally. Professionally, I'm a trained social worker and clinician, so of course, working with humans means you're working with grief.
Yep.
But it really wasn't until my husband, when I was 40, my husband was 44, died in my arms of a grapefruit-sized brain tumor that had gone undiagnosed. And when I was required to return back to work 2 weeks later, it was then that I recognized not just that globally we're not, sort of writ large, we're not good about grief, even in the helping communities of social workers and psychiatrists and psychologists, we were really getting it wrong. And so over time, I wanted to take my professional and personal experiences, my training in narrative therapy, and change the narratives of grief. And that's why I call myself a grief activist.
I'm so glad. When you talk about the quick return to life after that. I've lost a lot of people in my life. I've lost both my parents, most of my grandparents, my aunt and uncle. Wow. But I've made it a mission to be there for others who are grieving, because I think it's important that we are there for those who are grieving, because those who have not, thank God, experienced tremendous grief are a little scared of it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yet even though I've made this commitment in my life, I still struggle with what to say. Because I'm aware of not saying something that's insensitive.
Right.
Like, it was their time.
Or any sentence that starts with at least.
Yes. Right.
Just erase that from your vocabulary.
Why is it so hard to know what to say, and what are the right things to say?
Yeah. I want to give us all grace that we don't know the right thing to say, because we were all raised in this culture that is very grief illiterate and grief avoidant. So I want to right off the bat say, it's okay that we don't know. And I think we struggle because we do represent people's worst fear. And so when people say something, they say something that really is about making them feel better, that this thing happened to them. And so it can be insensitive, or people worse don't show up because they're worried about saying the wrong thing, and not showing up is saying something.
It's just as bad.
So I always say, though, there are a few phrases you can say, which is just to acknowledge and affirm, this is hard. I hate that this happened to you. I know you're caring a lot. But it's actually much less about the words and more about the energy.
Yeah.
And about my grief support motto is show up, shut up, and listen, and keep showing up.
I love that.
That's all you need to know.
I like that, the way you say that, I hate that this happened to you. It's so real. Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about your writing style is you keep it real. Yeah. Why was that important to you as opposed to going to more of a clinician's type of vocabulary?
I think, first of all, that's just my style. That's how I talk on my podcast for the last 5 years, even as a clinician. But I think really at the end of the day, so many people are suffering unnecessarily in their grief because they're not seen and held just as they are. And so I didn't want to, there is science and, wisdom in the book, but I really wanted people to walk away feeling like they were seen and held and honored in their grief. And that means straightforward language. I wanted them to feel like if you don't have a best friend who is grief literate or is comfortable with grief, you've got it in this book. And that's why I wanted to be really straightforward and also digestible, because grief brain is real and it's hard to comprehend things when you're in deep grief.
It's
right there, and there's science behind that. Mary Frances O'Connor has done a lot of great work around studying the grief brain. So that's the other reason I wanted to make it sort of digestible, straightforward language, something that anybody can understand, even when your brain is not working.
Yeah. We don't have much time left, which breaks my heart because I have so many more questions. But first, I want to ask you quickly, who are grief thieves?
Yeah.
Grief thieves, not easy to say.
Grief thieves, you know what? All of us are grief thieves. Grief thieves are the people who say the at least fill in the blank or etc. But we are also grief thieves to ourselves when we should all over ourselves and compare and judge ourselves, or we judge other people or rank order their grief. And there's just no need for that, and that makes us suffer unnecessarily.
What is your best advice to someone who is starting the grief journey?
So much grace and self-compassion for yourself. Take it slow, take it easy, and find someone to navigate along with you. You don't have to do it alone.
What I love about your book as well is it's not just about losing someone. It's not about death. I mean, it could be grief over a lot of things, over a job, as a victim of childhood sexual assault, over my childhood innocence. I mean, there are so many things we can grieve for, and I'm so grateful that you spent time to write this book. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me on, Amity. I loved it.
Absolutely, anytime. And all right, if you'd like to hear more from Lisa, she has a book event tonight, June 26th at Elliott Bay Book Company. Please go check this out if this is where you're at right now.